Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ask the Doctor, brought to you by Fortify Insurance Group. I'm your host, Courtney Wilson, president and founder of Fortify Insurance Group, and I am thrilled to share this inaugural episode with you. Today, we're diving into a real-world disability insurance case that perfectly illustrates how lifestyle, build, and medical history come together in the underwriting process. This case involved a 54-year-old male executive, non-smoker who was active, motivated, and looking to supplement his group long-term disability with additional individual coverage. At first glance, he looked like a solid candidate. He walks daily, lifts weights several times a week, and his blood pressure is well controlled at 120/78, though he is on a low-dose blood pressure medication. But there was one factor that made this case more complicated, and that was that his BMI is 38, which puts him in the moderate obesity category. Before we submitted anything to the carriers, I brought the case to our in-house medical director, Dr. Chelsea Alvarado, to help us understand how underwriters would view this overall profile. Dr. Alvarado, thanks so much for joining us today. Can you walk us through what stood out to you in this case?
Absolutely. Medically speaking, this client has several positives. He's a non-smoker, his blood pressure is well controlled, and he's physically active. His daily walks and strength training are great habits for his overall health. And these factors all reduce his cardiovascular risk. But as you mentioned, his BMI is 38, and that's where underwriting becomes a bit challenging. Obesity is one of the strongest predictors for long-term cardiovascular issues. And it's also one of the biggest red flags in disability underwriting due to the potential for future claims. So even though he's physically active, a BMI in this range is associated with hypertension, metabolic strain, and a higher likelihood of experiencing disability-relevant conditions over time. Additionally, he works in a high-stress executive environment, and this can contribute to blood pressure elevation and weight challenges.
So, given all those facts, what underwriting outcome should an advisor expect?
He's most likely to receive a 50% rating, and that is primarily driven by his build. With that rating, he's unlikely to qualify for increased riders, and his maximum benefit period would be capped at 5 years. The good news is that there is room for improvement. If he loses weight and maintains that progress, many carriers allow for reconsideration in 1 or 2 years. With a healthier BMI, he could drop into a lower risk class and potentially unlock better benefits and riders.
Cases like this remind us that underwriting isn't just about one number or one diagnosis, it's about the bigger picture. When clients understand how these factors like BMI influence the underwriting, they're better equipped to plan ahead and make meaningful changes. Dr. Alvarado, thank you so much for your clinical insight.
My pleasure. I look forward to our next chat.
Same here. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for future episodes where we will continue to break down more medical conditions and underwriting scenarios. Importantly, this podcast is for educational purposes only and not as medical or insurance advice. Thanks again for joining us and have a wonderful day.